This is Charlie Batch, 15-year NFL veteran, 2-time Super Bowl champion, and you are listening to the 3-Point Conversion.
Okay, we were real pleased with our victory on the road. Got our first road victory. I think we played well in all three phases. Gave us some momentum. 2-0 in the second half of the season. That's kind of what we talked about at the midway point. And I think we're getting better. We're getting a little healthier too, which is always good. Playing a team in Tulane that has played 4 top 25 teams. They went to Oklahoma, gave them a scare. Had a chance to win the game. They probably played Cincinnati as good as anybody, and Cincinnati, I feel like, is one of the best teams in all of college football. So this is a team that is a talented team. They came up short on a couple games that they could have won. They got a quarterback that I'm very impressed with. I think he's got 36 career touchdown passes. Been playing a lot of football, and I know he wasn't available last week. We do expect him to be back this week. We're preparing for that. And then they got a defense that's attacking. There's some even front, some odd front. They mix things up. They get in your face. They challenge things. So it'll be a good test for us. We're very glad that we're back home. Excited to play in front of our home crowd. Questions?
Here's what I said for Mikey, one of the most important things would be for the players around him to be better. Did you see that on Saturday?
I think so. We probably the good thing for me is we had some explosive plays. We threw the football down the field. We didn't hit them all, but you got to take chances to loosen things up. And I think when you do that, it opens everything else up. So I really think we're starting to go in the right direction offensively. We just got to continue to have those explosive plays and put points on the board.
Alec Holler earned a scholarship over the summer. Obviously, he's now shown that the reason why he earned that. Mikey said after the game that wasn't a mistake. Do you agree with that? And what have you seen for him in camp and leading up to this point?
Yeah, he's a very talented player. It's a very critical position for our offense, and he's coming on. He's getting more confidence each time he goes out. He made really 2 touchdown catches, but probably the best play he made was that third down at about 8 or 9 on the sideline. I have no idea how he stayed in bounds. Broke a tackle, he squared his shoulder, he split 2 defenders, got the first down. We ended up scoring a touchdown on that drive and going up 21-0, and that was one of the key plays I felt like in the football game.
Coach, what did you see from Tremont that has helped change the rotation at defensive end?
Yeah, he's an impact player. He disrupts stuff. He really he's good against the run. He's good against the pass. He's a quick twitch guy, and each game, he's coming on and getting better.
Coach, we saw Matt Lee in street clothes during the Temple game too. Kind of what's his stats? We looking to see him on Saturday.
Who's that?
Matt Lee.
Yeah, he got a little banged up in the game. We're hoping so. That he's a tough guy. I mean, that guy, he had a high ankle sprain week 3. Week 2, wasn't able to play week 3, came back, wasn't 100%, so he's just been managing his body the whole time. He's banged up in some other areas, but he's a champ, and we'll see what happens. Cole Snyder did a good job, in his place. Adrian Medley came in. The good thing is we do have experience without him, but we're hopeful we'll see, probably Thursday we'll have a better idea.
Okay.
Ricky Barber's been back for a couple games now, continues to just be a force up front in the middle. Talk about his performance and what he's been able to provide since he's come back.
Yeah, when he's on the field, it's you can really sense his presence, and the defense knows that he's on the field. He demands double teams. He's really tough to handle when he's single blocked, and he's got a really good motor. And I'll say this about our other defensive linemen: since KD's been out, we've had other guys step up too, and starting to play with confidence. It's all about our defense where the run fits. We stop the run, we play really good. The games we've done that, it's been a lot of fun.
Coach, Isaiah Bowser, you talked about several times how he's an NFL player. I agree, I think everybody does. What's the best attribute that he does that most people may not know about?
Oh, yeah. He goes forward, knows a couple. There's a third down and 2. we tried to pace the other day, and they had a guy in the backfield and two waiting on him about a yard past the line of scrimmage. He made a guy miss. He broke a tackle, and he ends up getting the first down by a yard when your average back would have been -1. So he's a downhill guy. He goes forward. He plays without the football. That's probably one of his best attributes too. He just does everything right, and he's a real common effect for a freshman quarterback. And doesn't have to worry about the running back. The running back's gonna be taken care of. I can worry about everything else. So that he's got a lot of attributes that help.
Coach, Tulane's rushing attack features both Cameron Carroll and Taije Spears. What do you like about those two on film, and how do you plan on continuing to stop the run?
Yeah, I mean, I'm impressed with them. I mean, against good opponents. I mean, like I said, what stands out to me is they played 4 top 25 teams, and I don't know. There's what is the 11th toughest schedule in college football up to this point. And, if you play 4 top 25 teams this late in the season, it's legit. Early in the year, half of the teams aren't worth the credit anyway. They're in the top 25, but now everything's clear. Everybody knows who everybody is. And those two have been successful against good opponents. So, it kind of goes back to if we can stop the run, we're a really good defense, and we're building upon that. And Coach Williams has done a really good job building in that area.
Coach, back here, on Saturday you guys had a really strong offensive performance, another strong defensive performance. Just talk about the confidence from these guys. You mentioned going 2-0 in the second half of the season. What's the confidence level from the players?
Yeah, I think we're as confident as we've been in a long time. We went through the storm of all the injuries, and we were kind of a work in progress, and we're getting more confidence. We are getting better as a football team. Second half of the season, this time of the year, there's very few teams that are actually getting better, and that's what I challenged our team with. We need to be that team that each week gets better. And I think we got the capabilities of continuing to do that. Obviously, we got a good test with this team coming in Saturday.
Coach, I know you said Jalen Flash Robinson was, he's been slowly kind of getting reacclimated to practice. It was kind of, touch and go last week. Maybe you said by Thursday, maybe if he could play or not. He didn't. What's kind of his status going forward?
Yeah, he'll practice today, and we're hopeful that we get him back. It's been a process, and so hopefully we'll have him back, and I'll know by Thursday.
Sorry, Mikey did have the one interception. I know it was fumbled and recovered by Brandon Johnson, but an interception almost every game. How do you just? Yeah,
he threw it right. He threw it right to him on that one. we got to do a better job. There was one other one on third down that they dropped, and we just got to do a better job protecting the football when we throw it. And really overall, he threw some great balls. Some great balls, but just being aware to protect that football. That's the biggest thing. And he's a young guy. He's learning and growing, but also this is his 5th game coming up. So we just got to do a better job. It was an unbelievable play by our running back and receiver stripping the ball and getting it back, but he threw it right to him.
As you look to finish out strong, what does it mean to have 3 of the last 4 games at home?
Oh gosh, yeah, it's a game changer for us. Playing at home, this is one of the best home field advantages in college football. It's extremely tough on opponents. Our fans have willed us to win twice. I do know that, and so we're very excited to be back.
One more about Alec Holler. Did you notice something? Obviously he put on scholarship over the summer, but was there something that you noticed about him early when you arrived?
When I got here, everything happened quick. I think we were on the practice field about a month after I got the job, something like that. So everything was wide open. And we went out there, and I actually thought he was on scholarship. That's how he was playing. He played like a guy. He's one of our best players. And so that was a really common sense thing to do, is put him on scholarship. And he's carried that over, and he is still growing too. Just from a confidence level. A lot of times when you walk on the mental psyche of believing in yourself, and I think each game you've seen, he's starting to play with confidence now. And he's a really good player, and I think you're starting to see him grow, and he's starting to understand he's a really good player. College football, a lot of it is right here, as far as whether it's a freshman or a walk-on, of that fighting that self-doubt, am I good enough to play, all that. He's flipped the switch on that, and it's been really fun to watch.
What are some of the unique challenges that go with playing Tulane? I know their record may not be the greatest, but they gave Oklahoma a game earlier on in the year.
Yeah, they're a scary team. You look at them on film, you don't see a 1-17, but kind of goes back to the 4 top 25 teams. And, I think they were in Birmingham for a month or something like that. I mean, like, so they've overcome a lot of stuff, and they got really good players. They got really good players on offense, defense. I'm very impressed with their special teams. I think it's one of the best special teams we play. So, this is a game that we're going to have to play good. Our guys understand that. All right, we got some veteran guys, smart guys. They turn on the film and say, these guys are pretty good. So, but we need to play well, and we need to be that team that continues to get a little better each week.
I have to ask, how's Dylan doing?
He's progressing. We'll see. I mean, as soon as I find out something a little more concrete, I'll be able to tell you. But right now, it's kind of the same status, and we'll see where that goes.
You still hoping that he can get back at some point this
Yeah,
month?
no, definitely we're hoping. And we're definitely hopeful. We'll see what happens, and maybe next week I'll be able to give you a little more specifics on a specific timeline.
Coach, I know you mentioned you guys had a lot of explosive plays on the weekend. How important was it to get those explosive plays, get a lot of throws downfield, and have a really strong offensive performance?
Yeah, that's you really look when we've had explosive plays. That's when we score touchdowns. The 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and going. We hadn't scored a lot of touchdowns that way. So just understanding what we're made up of right now, our makeup, what's our DNA, what do we need to do with what we got to be successful. It's about explosive plays. We got to continue to build on that. And we made more, I guess, the other day, or at least we gave our guys more chances than we've given, and it paid off.
Coach, can you just talk about the continuous improvement from the offensive line group? Have they been successful with letting plays develop in the past few weeks?
Yeah. I think it starts in the run game up front, and the good thing is we inherited some veteran guys that understand football. We can still play better up front, and our guys understand that. And there were some things that we did Saturday that we feel like we can do better, and so we really, talked about that. And we got our freshman quarterback. That run game is his best friend. We got to continue to build upon that.
Thanks. We'll start.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, questions for Alec Holler.
Hey, Alec, welcome to these press conferences. I know you're a local guy, grew up in the area. Before we kind of talk about this year and everything, can you just kind of talk about the process of you getting over to UCF? I know you played, at Trinity Prep for Mike Kruzek, right?
Yes,
Former
sir.
UCF coach. So what was it like just kind of going through high school and then making the decision to come to UCF as a walk-on?
Well, originally I really thought I was going to play basketball in college, and then about halfway through my junior year, I decided to join the football team with my little brother, and obviously learning from Coach Kruzak. He's very smart, knows the game really well, and he had a connection with Coach Beckton, which then ended up leading me to UCF.
Your brother is Max, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you guys grew up UCF fans, obviously local, but do you have any ties to UCF beyond that, just being?
My aunt and uncle went to UCF, and my older sister and older brother both went to UCF.
So did you grow up a UCF fan?
Oh, yeah.
Did you want to go to UCF and going through high school?
Yes, sir. I grew up going to the games in the Citrus Bowl, then into the Bounce House. I mean, those are special moments, like the one I-4 with Mike Hughes bringing back the kick return. Like, those are some of my most prized moments or memories.
So you talk about prize moments and all of that. Tell us a bit about your family's reaction when the news came out you went on scholarship.
Man, they were so proud of me, and I really love them, appreciate them, and I do it for them, and I just thank God that He put me in this situation where the coaches came in and they believed in me enough to be able to earn a scholarship, and they were just really proud of me, and they love and care about me, and I really appreciate them.
Can you kind of talk more about that moment? I mean, I maybe you've been around for other years when they coaches do that and they try to surprise guys. Like, were you surprised when it happened, or what was kind of the in the moment reaction?
Yeah, it was funny. I was really surprised because like a week before I actually had talked to Coach Blackman. I was like, oh, like, is there any chance that this could happen? And Coach Blackman was like, oh, no, like that would be like far in the distant future. And then the next week I'm sitting in the team meeting and they put my face up on the board. I'm like, dang, like academic, whatever, player of the week, that's awesome. And then he goes on to start talking about working hard and you earn everything you get. And then in that moment, it really hit me that that's what was happening. It was really surreal.
Alec, talking about the game on Saturday, you had a really big performance. Talk about what that does for you personally, confidence-wise, and also for the offense, just to have a really big day on Saturday.
Well, obviously, it's really nice to get the touchdowns and all the yards and stuff like that, but for the offense altogether, being able to finally get that ball vertically and be able to make the defense respect that, and then we can run the ball like crazy. I know Mikey's really improved. The O-line was blocking really well. Bowser, Johnny running the ball really well. And O'Keefe is just, I mean, he's explosive. If you give him the ball, he can score from anywhere. So confidence-wise, I mean, we're just going to keep carrying that on into the future.
How have you leaned on Jake Hescock for advice? I know he's a senior guy. He's been there for a long time. How has he helped you with the tight end position?
Yeah, when I first came in, Jake was like the first person that I really like leaned on to learn the plays, and he's really mentored me. And I'm really appreciative that I've had the opportunity to be around him because he's such a great player.
Alec, how did your time at Trinity Prep prepare you for those moments on Saturday?
I mean, at Trinity Prep, obviously, you don't have as many athletes, so at Trinity Prep, I was able to like be the guy that was leaned on there, and Coach Kruzak was able to teach me a lot about running routes and different coverages and just instilling the game into me. So having Coach Kruzak teach me stuff like that and then being able to pull that over to UCF obviously helped a lot.
Alec, can you kind of put it into words? Obviously, it's big getting the scholarship, but becoming such a major, focus point of the offense. Making big plays, scoring touchdowns. I mean, that's got to be a great feeling. You're coming off, maybe your best game, and everyone knows your name, but they didn't know it before.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome to score the touchdowns and get the catches, but at the end of the day, I just want our team to succeed, and whether that's me catching and scoring a touchdown or me run blocking to get Bowser out or Johnny out, whatever it takes for our team to succeed, that's what I want to do.
I like UCF has had success with former walk-ons, Greg McCray being one of them most recently. For you to set an example, continue to set an example for walk-ons, like what do you have a message for future walk-ons or current walk-ons?
I would say just continue to work hard. I mean, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I remember my freshman year, it's obviously tough going from being at Trinity where you're the guy and then going to being a walk-on scout team player, and knowing that every time you're going against those guys, like on defense under the starters, you're getting better every single rep. So just knowing every day you got to come in, work hard, and stay consistent, and know that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Talk to me about, I think it was your first touchdown the other day at Temple. Obviously you catch the ball, you're going towards the corner, you kind of see the pylon there. It's just like, is it instinct just to dive for, or what was kind of going through your mind when you saw you were getting close to the end zone?
Yeah, I guess it's just seeing that I had a leverage where I was able to try to reach out to the pylon and score, and just trying to will it. Everyone sees the end zone, is like, oh, I gotta get in there, I gotta score. But Mikey also made an amazing pass, throwing it over two dudes rushing off the edge. So he really made that play happen.
Even though you had the touchdowns, guys said your best play was that 3rd and 7 where you stopped, turn around. What did you do on that play? Were you surprised?
Well, since it was 3rd and 7, I'm more of a check down, so the fact that Mikey was composed enough to read it out and then get it to me, and then I just saw the first down was a couple more yards, so I just tried to stay in bounds and ended up doing a little spin and diving for the first down, which ended up working. But yeah, it was awesome.
Like you were mentioning about coming to UCF games as a kid. You mentioned the Mike Hughes game, 2017. Were you in the stands, or any of those those years where you kind of thinking about maybe you're in high school, man, I'd love to be on this team with you? Did you kind of daydream about that a few years back?
Oh yeah, it's always been a dream to play Division I college football, and especially for the hometown team UCF. I mean, growing up, always going to games, whether it's the Citrus Bowl, the Bounce House. I remember going to the UCF Texas game, the first game that was in the Bounce House. That game was electric, and just knowing that we have the best fans in college football and to be able to play in front of them, having previously been one, is really special.
How much did Coach Kruzak, did he want you to UCF pretty badly, or what's his impact on your career?
I mean, he's really had an impact on my career, and he just wanted me to go wherever I could be successful. And I told him I was really interested in UCF, and that led him to pursuing Coach Beckton and seeing if I could get a spot on the team.
As a tight end, you have a unique perspective among the players where you play, look at you prepare to look at the pass coverage as well as the defensive front. As far as Tulane goes, I know you haven't a lot of time to prepare. What is it you see so far that kind of jumps off the page for you?
I mean, they're a physical team. They're solid. They're definitely a lot better than their record. They played Cincinnati tough. They played Oklahoma tough. So as an offense, we know that we really have to lock in this week and be able to perform.
Yes.
James.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alec. Good job. Yeah, thanks, Brandon.
Questions for Ricky Barber?
Hey, Ricky, how's it going?
Good, how about you?
Yeah, it was probably a little bit frustrating for you. At midpoint of the season, you get hurt, you have to miss a few games, but you've been back at it the last few weeks and been playing well. You feeling pretty good and pretty comfortable out there?
Yes, sir. I feel like I'm almost back to 100%. So I'm playing to do anything I can to help my team.
How do you feel like the rest of the guys around you have stepped up since Khalil Davis went down?
Definitely, guys like they stepped up. Keenan, Hester, Cam, Maltavo, they all stepped up and they've been performing really well, making plays when we need them.
KD's really, one of the best defensive tackles in the nation, really. Obviously before he went down. What did you kind of learn from him coming in? Because he's kind of been the gold standard here to kind of learn from. You're still a relatively young guy. What did you kind of learn from KD in the months since you've been here?
So KD just kind of plays with this relentlessness and just like he refuses to be blocked. So like I've kind of been trying to incorporate that with my game.
What is your favorite pass rush move?
My favorite move is the cross chop.
How good has the defense been playing in the last few weeks? I know you kind of had some struggles early on, but you guys almost went 6 straight quarters without giving up any points. Just a lot of touchdown, against Temple late kind of garbage time. So you got to feel like you guys are kind of getting in a groove right now.
100%. I feel like that goes back to coaching though. Like every week, Coach T. Will tells us, do your job. You have one assignment, you play, do your job, and everyone's been more locked in with what they have to do. So yeah.
Ricky, back here. Going along that, what is the confidence level of the defense right now? You guys had a really good game against Memphis, a good game again on Saturday against Temple. What's the confidence level of the guys?
We're definitely really confident, but we know that we're still hungry and we still have more to do. We're not just hungry, we're greedy, and so we have to understand. Yeah, we've been playing good, but we haven't arrived yet.
For fans watching at home, what's a cross chop?
I have to show you. It's more of like a you kind of you set them up, you rush up field, and you kind of go like that, and then so it's like it's like basketball, like a crossover.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that. Yeah.
So I know what you're talking about from my time in the trenches. There, that's a scary move. I'll give you credit for that. But defensively speaking, you guys have had a lot of players come back. What does that do to kind of to rev you guys up for the second half of the year here?
It definitely helps the morale of the team. Just knowing that you got players coming back. Key players that were played a big part in the first half of the season that went down early.
What is the endurance factor like? You missed a little bit of time. Did you get a chance to do some of the same cardio stuff, and did you feel different the first time you came back onto the field?
Well, I was in the treatment room. My bad. I was in the treatment room every day, so the training room just kind of keeping my body in shape. They kept my heart rate up, so I really wasn't that much out of shape.
Ricky, I know it's early in the week as far as looking at Tulane. I'm sure you've heard a little bit about them this morning or yesterday, last night. Just what sense? I know the record isn't the greatest, but they played a lot of teams tough. They didn't take Oklahoma the wire, Cincinnati. They played some tough games. What kind of stands out to you when you look at Tulane?
They have a really explosive offense and a really good offensive line, so it's just about getting after them early.
After back-to-back strong performances, what's the message from Coach Travis Williams to the guys?
Once again, just not just being hungry, just stay greedy. Just be consistent and do your job.
Ricky, how do you think you're? This is your second year, obviously. Working with Coach Martin. Obviously, you worked with him last year and everything. Just what's that like? I mean, are you seeing the improvement? I mean, what's it kind of like in year two? Because you're not really coming. You're coming into a new situation, but in some ways you're kind of not because you have a familiarity with him.
Yes, sir. Me and Coach Martin, this is our third year together. So it's just continuing building on what we've done over at Western and just bringing it here and then just building on that and stacking.
You mentioned some of the guys earlier, Keenan, Hester, Cam Good. What's the camaraderie like on the defensive line?
Oh, we're all super close. We all learn from each other. We're with each other every day, even after practice. So we're all cool.
Yeah, just kind of on that note, what's the team chemistry like? Between the entire defense, offense, you guys get along or hang out, or what's that like?
We mesh really well. It's a really close team. It's a player-ran team too. So we're all close.
What do you kind of learn from Big Cat? I know he's a team captain this year, older, experienced guy. He's kind of a vocal guy. What do you kind of learn from a guy like that?
Kind of how a pro is supposed to carry themselves. He's my roommate too, so being able to even see him off the field is just kind of how a pro is supposed to carry himself.
He said you were kind of adjusting to the heat a little bit. I heard you on the radio the other night, so it's got to feel pretty good, right? Are you kind of getting more used to the Florida heat now?
Yeah, definitely.
Last thing, I heard you guys got celebratory cheesesteaks
We
after
did.
the game. How are those?
They were good. I actually brought 2 home.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.